Hi, Story Gordon here. How's it going? Me too, it's going. It's going great now. But I remember a time when it wasn't. It was in the 8th grade. You may have heard this story. It's on this channel called First Love. It's when my girlfriend Karen dumped me on the first date because I was a jerk. I didn't know why, but I finally figured it out. I was just catching puberty. In the next year, I grew about 7 inches from 5'7" to 6'2". My shoe size went from about an 8 to a 13. I got to the point where I couldn't take very many steps before I tripped over my feet. It was a tough time. So many things happened in the next 5 years until I graduated from high school. I ran with a bunch of guys. We didn't have a name for ourselves, but if I was to label us, I would call us the ROAK, the Royal Order of Arthurian Knights, because we were the guys who really didn't have a mission. Maybe that's true of all adolescents. It seemed like every turn I took led to a dead end. I liked to sing. I was able to sing both tenor and bass, often on the same note. So many things happened. I grew so fast that my feet got to the point where they hurt. I had to wear corrective shoes, and I couldn't play sports. Well, my doc says you can play any sport you want as long as you don't run. That ruled out sports. But the ROAK, the 5 of us, we were, as they say, thick as thieves. We hung out together, we swam together, we fished together, we hunted together, we built a shack in the woods, we spent weekends out there. It was a great time. There were some disasters. I remember that we shot a couple of squirrels and tried to cook them. It was terrible. It had been better if we had tried to cook a couple of limbs off the tree where we shot them. But that was a formative period. My first love had crashed. My love life went to close to zero. Oh, I had dates. I had lots of first dates, never a second date. One of the things that ROAK did, we challenged each other to do things. Danny was a long hair. He was the only guy in our school who was allowed to wear long hair because he was National Honor Society. He had written a novel of, 80,000 words before he was 16. He was the genius in the crowd. Well, there was a new girl in school. She was short, almost the shortest girl in the class. I was tall, the tallest guy in the class. So my buddies thought it would be neat to see me dancing with her. Okay. They tried to talk me into it. I knew what they were up to, and I said no. But they persisted. Finally, they persuaded me. I asked her to go to a dance. She said yes. The problem occurred was that the band that had been hired for the dance canceled. I, of my many attempts at talent, played saxophone and clarinet in a dance band, and we were hired to play at the dance. So I took her to the dance. She sat in the chair along the side. I played in the dance band. When the dance was over, we drove home. I took the money that I'd earned from playing in the band. We had a nice dinner. And my mother made me be a gentleman, or she wanted me to be. And I knew I had to ask Frances if she had had a good time. When I asked her, knowing she was going to say no, she said yes, that she had had a great time, one of the best times of her life. How can that be? Here's the deal. I was in the band. She was in the chairs over on the wall with all the other girls who didn't have dates. The chaperones that night were the 2 coaches, 2 good-looking single guys that most of the girls had crushes on. When they found out that Goofy Gordon had brought a date knowing he was going to play in the band, they decided to dance a few dances with her. She was the new girl in school. That night, she made more friends probably than she had made in some time. So that's my story. It led to a very interesting place because I finally found something to be interested in. We had a second date and a third date. I developed a focus in life. I was going to be a high school teacher of math and science. That didn't work out either, but Frances did. We've been married 61 years, but that's another story. Next up, I want to talk about how every failure I've had has led to a success. This is Story Gordon saying, thanks for stopping by. If you like what you see here, subscribe if you like, or come back and visit. I'm wishing you all the best in your quest wherever it leads.